Good evening. Thank you all for joining us. This morning, I received a message from my church's pastor. Ironically enough, passed along to her from my prior pastor. It reminded us that in Paul's first letter to the Corinthians, he writes, "Everything is permitted, but everything isn't beneficial. Everything is permitted, but everything doesn't build others up." This really struck me. Paul's encouragement to the church to not only think of themselves as they make decisions about what they do, but to think about how their actions and their witness impacts others. In the Message translation of that same passage, Eugene Peterson says it this way: "We want to live well, but our foremost efforts should be to help others live well." Helping others live well means that because we are allowed to do things does not mean that we should. The COVID-19 pandemic is a crisis unlike anything we have ever faced before. And we took swift and decisive actions in Baltimore County, and those actions have helped to flatten the curve, and they have literally helped save lives. We have heeded the advice of public health experts, and our decisions have been in the best interest of protecting the health and lives of Baltimore County residents. Today is no different. Baltimore County must continue to do what is in the best interest of our communities, with the health and safety of our residents at the top of that list. We've had 4,290 residents test positive for COVID-19. And in 2 months, we've lost more than 200 of our neighbors to this horrible virus. As of yesterday, 123 patients were hospitalized in county hospitals with COVID-19. And while we've opened up several test sites around the county, it is not nearly the amount that experts say is necessary to safely reopen. After examining these and other indicators, and in close consultation with our public health team, it's clear that we are not yet in a position to safely move toward a significant reopening. So we took a close look at the actions announced by the governor, and we've made the following decisions. Until further notice, professional personal services in Baltimore County will remain closed. Religious institutions may not begin holding full worship services and ceremonies indoors. The restriction on gatherings of 10 or more people at the state level remains in place. Restrictions that continue to apply to the recording and streaming of indoor services as well as outdoor religious gatherings. Beginning at 5 p.m. Friday, retail stores in Baltimore County will be allowed to open for curbside pickup and delivery only. At this time, there will be no in-person retail, aside from those retail establishments already deemed essential under Governor Hogan's orders. Shopping malls must continue to remain closed. Under the governor's previous orders, the majority of manufacturing firms in Baltimore County were considered essential and remained open. Beginning Friday at 5 p.m., the remaining manufacturing operations, most of them small business, will be permitted to operate as long as they abide by CDC guidelines for social distancing and have appropriate PPE. I recognize that these announcements will not be welcome news to everyone, but moving too quickly would reverse all of the progress we've made over the last 2 months. So I ask for grace from those who might not agree with all of my decisions, knowing that they have been focused on allowing us to move forward in a safe and responsible manner, in a way that keeps our residents and our larger community well. Our neighbors in the other jurisdictions around the state are making similar decisions, especially in our large jurisdictions, because they also recognize that moving too soon risks the health and lives of our residents. As we try to keep our residents healthy and safe, we recognize that many of our neighbors face income loss, food insecurity, and other extraordinary challenges. And we continue to take steps to expand the safety net to support those residents. Baltimore County government and Baltimore County Public Schools together have provided over 1 million meals to our residents. Information on where residents can pick up food at no cost is available at baltimorecountymd.gov/foodhelp. We've also made over $10 million available to provide grants to small businesses in the county and to artists who have lost income. We've established the COVID-19 Response Fund for Baltimore County, and earlier this week, we announced a call for grant proposals from community organizations serving county residents during this time. In the coming days and weeks, we will continue to follow the data and reevaluate restrictions as necessary. Our goal has always been, and always will be, to take a thoughtful approach to this rapidly evolving situation. And it's important for residents to understand the only way that we can move forward safely towards reopening is to continue the hard work of social distancing. Residents should continue to stay home when they can. They should wear masks in public spaces, and they should continue to maintain 6 feet of distance from others when they go out. Baltimore County, these are the times that challenge us as a people. This is a crisis the likes of which we have never seen, and it requires us all to do our part. It requires us to build others up, and my prayers are with you. And I hope you continue to send me, along with other government officials, your prayers as we seek discernment about the best path forward in very difficult circumstances. But we will get through this, and we will get through this together. Bill.
John, yesterday you issued a joint statement with the city. Today it's not a joint statement. Where was the disagreement? And if I'm hearing you correctly, the stay-at-home order is not going to be extended in Baltimore County, correct?
Yeah, so we took a line-by-line review of the governor's orders yesterday in close consultation with our public health officials. And where we could move forward toward reopening, we want to. And where it was clear that we weren't yet in a position to safely reopen, we opted not to. So we're just taking a much more line-by-line approach to how we approach things. That's what we'll continue to do in the days ahead.
And when do you think you're going to get to that stage of a complete phase one?
When we started governing, it was week by week or month by month. This pandemic has changed things to hour by hour, if not minute by minute. So I think to put an artificial timeline is something I just can't do at this point. It'll continue to be informed by our health experts. As I mentioned on our conversations yesterday, it's about having the PPE, it's about having the testing, it's about having the contact tracing, which we've made significant progress on, but we're not really where we need to be for Baltimore County or frankly for the state at this point.
And can I just follow up on that? And I just want to clarify because the actual stay-at-home order is mentioned in the governor's proclamation, as well as the additional lines. And I think families think about, is the stay-at-home order in effect when they think about what can I do?
Yeah.
So does the stay-at-home order remain except you relax these specific restrictions?
So we never actually issued a stay-at-home order in Baltimore County. We followed the state's guidance. But what I will tell people is the very best thing that our residents can do is to stay home. Whether there's a stay-at-home order or not in Baltimore County or in Maryland, the best thing people can do to help save lives and to stay safe is to stay home. And while we don't have a technical stay-at-home order in Baltimore County, we are confident that the restrictions that remain in place and the extent to which county residents have been so good about voluntarily complying has really helped keep our numbers. Again, one life is far too many, but has kept our numbers in a place where we feel confident to slowly take steps in consultation with our health department. So no individual order at this point. When the governor's expires, it will be lifted from the state and here in Baltimore County, but the best thing people can do is to stay home.
Barbershops and hair salons are not included in this as well, correct?
That's correct.
When do you think they can reopen? I've talked to several today who were anxiously preparing, but then were maybe not so fast because they felt this was coming.
Yeah, I mean, again, we in today's announcement, we are now opening up those retail shops, at least for curbside and delivery, that were not open before in Baltimore County. We know how hard our businesses have been hit. We just don't have the testing and the PPE sufficient to open up and have that additional interaction, particularly when there's already a gathering restriction by the governor of 10 people or less. So until we see continued improvements, particularly on those fronts, it's going to be hard to make that, but we are working every day to meet the gaps locally. You know, where the federal government or the state government isn't able to give us the testing that we need, we're actively exploring options here locally. Where PPP isn't available, we're looking for ways to partner to get it out in the street. So I would want to have it open yesterday. And so the answer is as soon as we possibly can, but in a safe way. And for those businesses like the barbershops and like those care facilities, the nail salons that are still not able to open, we do have that grant program, and if they have not already gotten the federal support through the PPP or the EIDL program, I would strongly encourage them to come to the Baltimore County website and apply for our grant program to help get them through this very difficult time.
Thank you. Yesterday the governor did say there is great concern in his administration about people from the hotspot locations, mostly PG and Montgomery County, flooding other counties which are open, which I know is a concern for leaders statewide. How much of that played into your decisions today? You know, it's easy to just drive up 95 or around the Beltway. How much did that play into this decision?
That was certainly a factor, and the more we open, it's not just opening to Baltimore County residents, it's opening to the entire state and frankly the entire region. So we have to be mindful that we are allowing ourselves to have, once a business is open, you can't test on the way in and know if someone's COVID positive, which is why having the testing and the contact tracing and the PPE is so critical to make sure that our residents are safe when we can fully open up.
All right, thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.